Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Yahweh by Hashem Barakatham, to the hopefully elect. Just real quick, man, I was watching this video by this guy. His name is Southern Prepper 1. And the title of this video says, "We need NWO, take us back to the old days." And in this video, he was just bringing out some pretty interesting points about how basically there was a time where, because you see right now, and this is something that has been going on throughout time, we're coming into times where the scriptures say the love of many waxing cold, roughly paraphrasing it. And basically, because again, we're at a time where pretty much this is everyone's pretty much worried about themselves for the most part, and even more so when things really get bad out here, when there's a shortage of food and water and supplies, and people start turning on one another. The scriptures go into how basically friends are going to become foes, and brothers turning on one another, neighbors turning on one another, so on and so forth, things like that. Everyone's going to pretty much, it's going to be pretty much a dog eat dog world, and everyone's going to be trying to survive, man, and fighting for themselves. They're not going to pretty much care for the next man, woman, or child. And this is the time that we're in, and this is the time that we're coming into, even more so, But what he pretty much brought out in this video was about how basically there was a time where things were a lot different, back in the day, where people would you would actually have neighbors look out for one another, neighbors looking out for neighbors' kids and whatnot, stuff like that, kind of like a family orientated thing, almost kind of like a neighborhood watch, people looking out for one another, stuff like that, but again, because those days are over, all right, and pretty much what he was talking about, what he was kind of going into, because being that things are so bad, man, and things are getting worse, it's kind of like he's almost kind of and what this guy often talks about, because I sometimes, if the spirit compels me, I'll watch some of his videos, and just from what it sounds like, this dude could be a Jake, it could be a confusion of face, because pretty much what he was crying out for in this video was pretty much for what do you call it, a refreshing, going back to how things were back in the day, going back to those times where people looked out for one another and whatnot. And so, like I said, he was pretty much calling out, he's pretty much crying out for an NWO, but not in the NWO that the Joe 9 and 24s are trying to push, not that type of NWO, and basically he's kind of crying out from what he was saying. And this is why, like I said, from watching some of his videos, he could be a Jake, because basically what he was crying for, what he wants deep down inside, from what it sounds like, is the kingdom. All right. And like I said, that's why I say he could be a Jake. But like I said, this guy, he was bringing out some pretty interesting points. I'm gonna play some of this video, and just get into a few precepts, because believe it or not, an NWO, a real NWO is coming, and it's going to be established on this earth. And again, it's not going to be in the sense of the Joe 24s, not the NWO that they're trying to establish, all right, but an NWO reign in righteousness, and so much that everything is going to be, like I said, reign in righteousness, clean water, clean air, you're not going to have to worry about chemicals, breathing in all type of harmful chemicals, and you know, taking in all type of harmful metals into your body, and you know, none of that stuff. You know, real food, eating real food, and this is the real NWO. The one of many perks that's going to be, you know, established when the real NWO comes, when Yawakal comes to establish, you know, the righteous kingdom on earth. So before I ramble on, I'm gonna play some of this video. I don't know how much long. I don't know how long I'm gonna play it. So we'll just go according to the spirit. So without further ado.
Hey YouTube, this is just Purple One. It is raining outside. You'll hear that on the metal roof. First, apologize for I get a ton of emails, a ton of them. I can't keep up with them, and I apologize. I do my best. If something's very important, send it again. It's a second time, and I will definitely get to you. But I also prefer talking on the phone. I've been talking to so many people. So many people are waking up. I know that's going to be like, holy cow, Dave, what are you saying? And this is why. People have questions, and I understand that. But I'm going to entitle this video, We Need a New World Order. I know that's going to be like, holy cow, Dave, what are you saying? And this is why. I love talking to people because I have the pulse of a lot of people that are out there.
And because, just real quick, because, you know, using those words, you know, actually saying them out, the NWO actually saying those words out. I don't know if they're going to clip the video or not, but if they do, this video will be uploaded on BitChute, just in case they clip the video.
Better than just an email. So a lot of people are trying to prepare, but a lot of them don't know where to go, don't know what to do. I need to get it so down to basics because there's so many people. Yeah, there's a lot of you been with me for years and years and years that are advanced preppers, but there's so many coming online that just don't know what to do, and they're scared. But what I'm getting with in this video is a new world order. We need a new world order. We need to burn the one we got down, and this is why. I am seeing in comments, in emails, and talking to people, almost hopelessness, almost a loneliness. And it's coming from that they're not connected to their community, they're not connected to their neighborhood, and that's so sad. It's because of technology. It's because the ability, you don't have to have a relationship with your neighbor.
Because, like I said, you know, there was a time where people would actually look out for one another, you know, stuff like that. But now we're in a time where, because of, well, social media has a good part to play in that. Pretty much everyone's become so disconnected, so antisocial, you know. It's to the point where people are so in tune with social media and whatnot, and living living in this matrix, you know. When it comes down to actually interacting with people, you know, it's almost foreign. People don't know how to interact with one another, you know. So like I said, social media has a little, a major chunk to play in that.
Like 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago.
And Slaki, because I was going to make the point that if it didn't just slip my mind. So yeah, pretty much, it's gotten so bad how things are, man. People are desperate for answers, and you see, this is the, you know, the trickery of these Job 9:24, because, you know, he creates the problems, and then he presents the solution. You see, and just a sidebar real quick, going into this this metaverse, which I still plan to, you know, Lord's will, getting these, you know, just touching on that with this metaverse, to where, you know, they're setting it up to where basically, man, you can live this alternate reality. All right, basically just plugging yourself into the matrix even more. Basically living in a digital world, you know, a virtual world, you know, which, you know, a lot of people, man, because like I said, it's so bad that people are looking for answers, man. People are seeking help in their spirit because of how bad it is, you know.
You had to have a relationship with your neighbor. If you wanted to survive, there was no phone. You couldn't go call a plumber. So if you had a problem at your house, you'd have to solve it yourself. If you couldn't figure it out, You'd have to involve your neighbors, your community. Let's put it back in like the Vikings days. You know, if you got invaded, your village got invaded, you all took care of each other. You fought or you fled. You had to rely on other people. You had to rely on the people in that community. It's not like today when Facebook has done the worst service they can. They try to unite all these people, and you do get friends with all these people, and you share things on there, but it's not at a level where I think your psyche, your soul, your spirit needs. It's on this frivolous little thing, because a lot of people say, oh, look, I went out to eat, this is what I ate, or I did this today. You're not connecting. It doesn't really matter. In the old days, as a pioneer, if the Indians attacked, you defended yourself, you defended your neighbors, or you ran to the fort. You had to rely on people. So what does that do? You had to be honest. You had to be of good character. You had to have integrity, because if you didn't, your little sphere of influence would realize that, and you wouldn't get the help you needed. You know, if someone was lazy and shiftless and they didn't work on their homestead, why would neighbors around come to support you? They would realize, hey, this guy's a deadbeat. Nowadays, if you don't like your job, you can quit the second and go find another job. You can have relationships with people online. That doesn't really mean anything. That person's 1,000 miles away. You need a relationship with people next door. So you could go cry on their shoulder, or you could share joy with them. You can't share joy or cry on someone's shoulder when they're 1,000 miles away. And you don't even know them. You know the facade they put up.
And I was watching something, again, just touching on the metaverse. I saw a video, real quick. I'm going to just pull this up. I'm not going to play it or anything. Because again, this is the alternate reality, you know, that these Joe 924s are trying to set up, that even if you're thousands of miles away from someone, you can pretty much be with them still. You know, you can still make contact with them, so to say, you know, be in their presence. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Well, actually, it's not in the title, but like I said, I was watching a video to where, like I just said, even if you're thousands of miles away from someone, you can actually still be with them. You know, virtual reality. You know, so back to the video.
On Facebook or Twitter or whatever you're looking at, it's a facade. So I think that's what we need to get back to. And a new world order, I would love it. The technology today has made us lonelier. I can see it. I can feel it. Also, it has made us not as smart. We think we're smart because we can put a man on the moon, we have all this technology, but dealing with people, many of them could not go out in the woods, and if the ground is damp, the wood is damp, the forest is damp, they couldn't start a fire to save their life because they never had to do it. Why do they have to do it? They can reach over and hit the thermometer or thermostat and raise the temperature in their house. They can go turn on the oven and cook something. And I'm all for those things. Those things have really added to our quality of life. It has extended our lives by giving us some comfort. But we are so far removed from just the basics of living, the basics of developing relationships and friendships. We don't have to, because we got Facebook. We don't actually have to be kind to our neighbor. We don't even know our neighbors. And yeah, I talked to a few people yesterday. I talked to probably on the average 3 to 6, 7 people a day that have prepper questions every single day. And I enjoy that. People don't trust their neighbors. Yesterday, a young man told me that. A guy told me that.
So just real quick, because the scriptures go into, roughly paraphrasing it, says, let brotherly love continue, you see, and like I said, amongst the brotherhood, brothers from the, different camps or whatnot, brothers, I'm sure, do the best that they can to the best of their abilities, but just overall, man, you see, and this is why we need a real NWO, man. We need a real NWO, man, because just the society that we live in and the times that we live in, like an example, something that is practiced in the society, which even before I was brought into the truth, this is something that I never agreed with. Like, if you got a guy, man, guys introducing, and it makes sense why the men of Great Millstone push this, because like I said, it didn't make sense even before I came into this truth, but guys introducing other guys to guys introducing their women, their wives, to other men, to their homeboys or whatever, something that wouldn't be advised in the society, because hey, the fact that, I mean, something might spark between, guy's friend and this guy and his wife and the friend, and something might spark off, and adultery could be committed, so this is why, because stuff like that's not gonna be going on in the kingdom, man. You see, in our kingdom, man, you're not gonna have to worry about bringing, or like certain events and parties, or things like that go down in the kingdom. You're not gonna have to worry about your woman, lusting after another man and stuff like that, man. You're not gonna have to worry about stuff like that, man, because I'm gonna read this here in Hebrews chapter 8. Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 10, because I want to make the point that this is only for Israel, all right, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. I'm going to read Hebrews 8, starting at 10. It says, "For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord." So again, just showing the point that this is the covenant, because, the covenant, the kingdom, the benefits of the kingdom, because you are going to have the other nations in the kingdom, but the benefits of the kingdom is only going to be for the Israelites. And the covenant, the new covenant that's going to be established, is only going to be for the Israelites. Thus saith the Lord, as I just read. It says, "I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts. And I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people." It says, "And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest." So you see, in our kingdom, man, when it comes to the law, statutes, and commandments, it's going to be something it's just going to be in us, naturally. It's not going to be a thing where, we're going to have to second guess, question or none of that. It's just going to come naturally. And this is the Lord putting his laws in us. The new covenant is going to be established in us. So with that being said, like the example that I use, man, in our kingdom, man, you're not going to have to worry about your woman lusting after another man. All right. Your woman, you see, even in this kingdom, man, in this society, our women, they have dealt with other men, and well, I mean, on a physical level, an intimate level. All right. But also in a sense, because, we're in a time now where, women are there in the workforce. And with that being said, you have, a lot of these women, they work around a lot of other men. So, they may take on that vibration. This is why, a lot of times, if, brothers that have a wife and, she comes home from work, she, certain moves she may have or whatever, because it could be due to the fact that she's been working around these other men. Their vibration could rub off on her. This is why it's important, man, for a woman. She's only supposed to deal with one man. All right. Intimately, she's only supposed to have one husband for that reason, because, her hopping around, she gets all these vibrations from these different men put on her, these different spirits put on her. All right. But you see, again, the point being that in our kingdom, it's not going to be like that, man. And this is why we need a real NWO, man, so things can get set back up back up in order, man. I did a video the other day. I believe I titled it the Diary of a Mad Black Man. And just going into, because I had mentioned in the video, man, the more you grow into this truth, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, the more the more the Lord shows you. Because what you see in the society, man, this is not how things are supposed to be. You know, and this is, you know, you develop a sense of bitterness because knowing how things are supposed to be versus how things are in this society, man, it pisses you off. You know, it's unfortunate, but nevertheless, this is why we need an NWO, man, a real NWO, man. You know, but reading on, or I'm gonna read verse 11 again. Hebrews 8:11, it says, and they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother. Again, because the name, you know, our neighbor is talking about Israelites. As I read in verse 10, you know, this is only going to happen. This new covenant is only going to be established with Israel, the nation of Israel. It says, and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. So again, we're all going to have the law, statutes, and commandments in us naturally. All right. It's going to come to us like breathing, you know. So again, man, with that being said, you know, again, this is why we need the NWO, man. Where real brotherly love, you know, that's, you know, because in our kingdom, man, that's going to be the time where we can really be family orientated, as this guy is describing. We're really going to be family orientated. You know, we're going to be about our nation and the building up of our nation, man, our people. You know, so like I said, man, what this guy was talking about, man, you know, pretty much certain videos, like I said, certain videos that I watched, that's why, you know, I think that, you know, he could be a Jake, but nevertheless, you know, this is pretty much what, you know, what he's crying out for, man, in the spirit.
They do not trust their neighbors. They do not trust people in their community, and that's sad that we have gone that far. In the old days, if you didn't trust your neighbors and you didn't work together, you didn't get the harvest in, you didn't build the barn, you didn't defend your community from raiders that wanted to steal what you had and kill you or take you into as prisoners. So the desperation and the loneliness that I'm seeing people have needs to be addressed. Facebook is not the answer. I truly believe to not have loneliness, you need to be a true believer in Christ. Through Christ, you don't have to worry about being lonely. I'm never lonely. If I'm not near my family or friends, I always have God next to me. I know I can talk to Him. That's maybe what we need in this world, is a revival. Understanding that we are nothing and He is everything. Pray for people.
So that was pretty much it. You know, like I said, we need a revival, man. We need a real NWO, but like I said, not in the sense that these Job 9-24 is what they're trying to push. You know, and like I said, believe it or not, a real NWO is coming, and it's going to be under the ordership, under the establishment of Yahweh Shai. All right. I'm gonna read this, and that's what we're looking forward to, man. Because that's it. When the matter of fact, I'm gonna read 2 Peter chapter 3. I'm gonna start at verse 10. It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. So you see, when the ICBM missiles come, and this is why, hey, man, we look forward to those ICBM missiles, because when they come, they're going to bring forth this refreshing. It's going to cleanse the earth. Because as you read in the book of Isaiah, the 24th chapter, the earth is defiled, man. The people that are ruling this earth, they have caused this earth to be left in a very bad state, man. The earth itself and everything in it, contained in this earth, man, everything is defiled. So those missiles, the fire from those missiles is gonna purge everything out. It's gonna melt all the elements, all the chemicals in the air, the bad foods, the GMO, everything's gonna get burnt up, and everything's gonna be refreshed from there. Because that's not the end all be all. When you read verse 11, it says, "Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in holy conversation and godliness?" I'm gonna jump down to the point, verse 13. "Nevertheless, we according to his promise look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness." So again, this is the real NWO that's going to be established under righteousness. And when you go into that word new, it goes, the Greek word there is kainos, which means refreshed. All right. because that's what's going to take place. Like I said, that's going to come by way of those missiles, the fire. It's going to purge all, the bad juju, all the elements and the chemicals. It's going to purge all this up. It's going to dissolve it. It's going to destroy it. And then from there, everything's going to be refreshed. When Yahushua comes, all right, and the elect are delivered up into the chariots, and then they come down from those chariots, that's when the earth is going to be refreshed. All right, kainos, refreshed, made new. All right. So this is the NWO. That's the real NWO. That's going to come. All right, and righteousness is gonna bud from there. It's going to be established from there. I'm also get this in Revelation 21, starting verse 1, because the same word for new here is the same word that I just read in 2 Peter. All right, the definition here in Revelation 21:1, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. So again, the Greek word for new here is kainos, the same thing that I just read before. All right. So this is the refreshing that's going to take place. This New Jerusalem is talking about the elect coming out of those chariots. Because again, when those missiles come, and it makes sense because if Yahweh Shai didn't save a small remnant, all right, if he didn't leave a small remnant, because it's going to be Yahweh Shai, the order is going to be established by Yahweh Shai, and then you're going to have the 144,000, which is the elect within the elect, all right. And from there, everything's going to be governed in righteousness. And from there, the nation is going to be populated. The 2/3 are going to be brought back in their right mind, because the 2/3, they're going to be born through the loins of one of the elect. All right. And they're going to be born into that covenant. So the covenant, the new covenant, even for the 2/3, is going to be, they're going to have the laws written in them as well. So they're going to come back perfect. All right. And this is all a part of the refreshing, man. All right, because right now, hey, man, you're having kids in this society, man. It's not a good. It's not a. I'm not gonna say it's not a good thing, but it's not a wise thing. Now, granted, a lot of us, we have kids and things of that nature, but it wouldn't be advised. You gotta be careful how you deal, man. Even with the women that you lay down with, man, you gotta be real careful, man. But you see, in our kingdom, we're not gonna have to worry about none of that, man. None of that's gonna be a concern of our, it's not going to be a concern at all in our kingdom. This is why we need this refreshing. All right. This is why we need the earth to be refreshed, because righteousness is going to be established. Scriptures say how the foundations of the earth, it's all out of course, man. But you see, in our kingdom, things are going to be flipped right side up. All right. Because everything is upside down right now, and everything's going to be flipped right side up in the kingdom. So this is why we need this refreshing. So I'm going to read this again, Revelation 21:1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. All right. Because the earth is going to abide forever. The earth is never going to be destroyed. So even though the earth is going to be getting hit with missiles, because the missiles are going to not only hit America, but they're going to be hit different parts of the earth. All right. But with that being said, again, the earth is not going to be destroyed altogether. The earth is going to be refreshed. The Lord is going to use those missiles to clean the earth out, to purify the earth, because fire is a purifying agent. All right. And from there, Yahweh Shai, and the elect are going to come out of those chariots. All right. The first earth is going to be passed away. Then from there, man, that's where you're going to, the real NWO is going to be established. I'm going to read verse 2. Says, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And, the common misconception, people think that this is talking about a physical city. But no, man, we are the temple. All right. And this is, again, the New Jerusalem is going to be the elect coming out of those chariots. Again, from there, righteousness is going to be established. And the real NWO is going to be set up on earth. Start with Yahushai, the 144,000. Then you're going to have the 1/3. All right. We're going to bring back the nation, and everything's going to be established in righteousness. The natural order of Yahweh Shem Shai is going to be set up on the earth, and that's going to usher in the real NWO. So hopefully this was edifying, giving all praises to Yahweh Shem Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Shema Shai Thumb to the house of David, the hopeful elect. Lord's willing, till next time. Shalom.